It's me, Hugh Riley, and I've got a very special guest joining me today. Shai-Rose Azad is a marketing communications program manager and consultant with over 10 years of experience in Canada, the US, East Africa, and I guess in markets all around the world. So great to have you here, Shai.
And thank you for having me.
So let's talk about digital marketing. First of all, just maybe if people don't know what that is,
Sure.
you know, the what and the why of social marketing that people need to think about.
That's a really good question. When I work with clients as well, I like to focus on the what and then tackle the why. So digital marketing involves, it's not just social media. So it could be your email, your own website, and then social media would be a communication channel that you could use like Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube. So there's a lot of facets that come into what makes up digital marketing as a whole. So to focus on digital marketing, I'd say you'd have to start with your strategy, know your what. So what is your brand, what is your message, what are you selling? And then the why are you doing it, what's the purpose? So once you know the answer, you have to think about your unique selling proposition, what is your value, and what you have to offer in the marketplace.
Okay, so when you're going to talk to one of your clients or
Yes.
The businesses that you're working with,
Yeah.
like what is your process? Maybe we can kind of walk through the process that
Sure.
people would be going through.
Okay, so I'd like to go back in the day when, let's say, you had shops and there wasn't digital media or the internet, and let's say you're a butcher and you've set up a new shop at the corner. Your way of advertising was in the community, and people would come in, there'd be a lot of word of mouth. So now you take the same concept and you put it online. So my step first is to know who your competitors are, and then get your brand and your wording out there so that your customers, your target audience knows who you are. So focusing on what you're offering and then who you're offering it to. Then you can focus on what channels you want to promote. Do you want to do email marketing? Do you want to be on YouTube? You really have to strategize that way. You have to know who your client is as well, like who your customer is.
Was that because when you go into a client and you find out what their target market is, then you say, well, that target market is on Facebook. They're not on Instagram, for example, or is that how you look at it?
Yes. So, I mean, it's great if you're into art and a designer, and Instagram is great, but you have to know what sort of engagement. Like, you can have 1,000 likes, but is that going to convert to sale? So you really have to be focused on what your end goal is. And I like to use a term called lean strategies. So really being focused on what an objective is, what you want to achieve at the end of, let's say, your campaign period. Is it 3 months? Is it a year? So that makes a big difference.
And I would think that really, if you're going to be able to measure how successful that is, you need to be able to what are your deliverables that you're hoping to achieve. Like, what would be some examples of what a client might, what would their deliverables be? Just some examples that they would want to achieve.
Absolutely. So let's say you did an email campaign and you want to offer a free ebook, and then nurture that client so that you can upsell products to them. So what you would do is you send them an email, and then the conversion rate would be seeing how many people downloaded that particular ebook, and then I guess building a nurturing campaign with them. So you can measure it in terms of that. So you know how you're successful. Let's say 1,000 clients downloaded that ebook or your customer base, then you can upsell that and measure that. In terms of Google ads and advertising, you can use data to see how well your ads are doing, and then measure your paid advertising that way. So that's another great thing with digital media.
Can you talk about really the role of content in a digital media strategy, and how, and even whether somebody should create brilliant content, and how do you do that?
I love talking about content, because content is something in digital media that they say content is always going to be king. So there's so many different ways you can play with content and strategize. I go back to strategy. So if you're doing a blog, about 1,000 words is the actual measurement of how long your blog should be.
It should be 1,000 words?
About there for a blog, yes.
That's a lot of writing.
Yes, it's really important. Like I said, content is king, so you really have to know exactly what content you're promoting.
Okay.
I strongly suggest hiring a writer for that if you can, but the main focus point of your content, firstly, I find is to provide information and education to your audience. And that does really well. So you have to know what you're talking about and helping your customer base, being useful to them and providing information. And content on a website, then you have to strategize. Are you selling information about yourself, which is talking about you, and then also giving, putting in tools and apps so that your customers can engage with you. And you need to have catchy headlines and then search engine optimization. So the keywords that Google will pick up is also very important, and that's a very specialized to the clients and customer base. So you really have to keep yourself up to grade with what information you're providing, and it has to be useful information.
Otherwise, Google's not going to pay attention because they want to give people relevant responses to their search queries, right?
They keep on changing algorithms because people play games and they play with different links, and they call that black hat tactics, which does not really work in the long run. But so for keywords are important because let's say you're selling shoes. It's such a generic term. So if you were supposed to put a headline or use paid advertising and just say leather shoes, then there would be thousands of matches that come up when you, let's say, type in that into your Google search. So the focus is to use long tail headings as well that are so specific. So you'd say leather shoes for women or color brown leather shoes or something like that, so you stand out.
Oh, okay, so what are some of the trends that people need to know about? Because I'm finding out new things all. It's like it's so complex. There's new apps that come along every day.
Yes.
So I mean, to me, that's a big mega trend. Is just the sheer complexity of the social media environment as it evolves. But what are some things you're aware of that people should be thinking about?
It's so exciting to be in digital marketing. I think small businesses, like I said, they can be online and you can reach a whole wide audience. For example, back in the day, you just put up your shop and hope people would come to your little market. So trends is mobile marketing, YouTube, which I think is absolutely great because there's research and studies show that a lot of videos on YouTube are about how to do certain things. So the how-to video is so popular, educating your audience. So focusing on that. Email marketing is great as well because it's nurturing and having one-on-one relationships and direct contact with your customer base. So I'd say focusing on those three trends. So your website should be mobile friendly. YouTube is also growing, and email marketing. And as we know, content will always be king. So that's another focus point. And to engage new clients, you have to provide information, know what you're offering, going back to your strategy, what you're promoting, who you are. With data analytics, you can keep track of who's on your website, who's bouncing off your website, are they downloading your papers, like really use data analytics to monitor how successful you are, and then focusing on mobile, YouTube, Instagram, just know where your customer base is. And think of yourself as a brand and be a celebrity, get trust, be likable, and provide value to your customers. I wouldn't say it as it's free, it's giving added value to them compared to your competitor maybe.
You can be speaking to your customers all the time, you know, to thousands of people even all the time, and when those people decide they want to do business with you because they already know you, because they've seen your face and heard your voice on YouTube, then you know they're going to come to your website, they're going to fill in your forms, they're going to get in touch, they're going to want to do business with you. It's such a phenomenal tool. It
is amazing, and it's just growing, which is great. And the reason, like I said, I love YouTube because it's engagement, people can see you, and you can also create how-to videos, which is really important because you're giving information and being useful. So it's a great tool for engagement.
Okay.
Yeah. And
now YouTube, okay, so that's one piece of technology. What are some of the other technology things?
I think technology is going to be just amazing with the Internet of Things. So I'm excited about where this is going, and there are, you know, people who feel a little uncomfortable.
I don't even know what that means. I know my fridge is going to have an IP number one of these days, but I don't know what that's going to do for me.
It is so exciting. So for someone who's busy, first of all, if I'm at the gym, I can wear a Fitbit and monitor how well my workout went. And maybe I don't need to have a personal trainer. I could jump on my treadmill at home and I can monitor my health and gadgets like those. And like you mentioned, your fridge, your security. Let's say you leave the house, your pass this program to cool down or warm up your place. I mean, it's great. And with shopping, my fridge would be able to tell me I'm out of milk. I'm excited about all that. And with digital marketing, imagine the scope. You can have advertising maybe on your fridge or on your watch or your Google Glass. It's just amazing.
It's almost scary because it seems that, I mean, this is a whole other topic, right? And I don't know where it's going to go because, you know, they talk about, Ray Kurzweil talks about the singularity.
Yes.
And that's related to the level of complexity of technology, right? Which we were sort of touching on earlier, right? It's like, at some point, it seems that it's almost like we're destined to merge our biology with technology somehow. I don't know what that's going to mean.
I wouldn't go to that extent. I just see it from a business perspective and also in how you manage your life. It's great to have all these tools and assets so you can be more creative and then do more things if you don't have to worry about your shopping list or your health and everything's being tracked. So it's just convenience.
Well, yeah.
I'd also like to point out with targeted marketing, for example, if I'm shopping right now and I'm, let's say, 5 minutes from a store, I can get an alert on my mobile phone and say, well, your favorite store now has this coupon discounts. I would love to go there and shop instead of getting, let's say, you know, ads about somebody who's on maternity. If I'm not on maternity, I don't want to shop for that. So it's very targeted, and that's very exciting.
It's also a real opportunity, I think, for everyone to, because I really think we're heading towards a world where everybody is kind of self-employed, right? Where the corporation as we know it is, I think that it will be difficult to survive the transition. I think people want to work on their own anyway and be in charge of their own destiny and be in charge of their own financial well-being, right? And these tools really do offer the opportunity like never before for people to get their businesses off the ground, be very successful without having to even invest a lot of money. You just get started and use these tools, which are almost like gifts, you know, gifts of the gods that are just here for us to use, right?
That's true. You can look at it that way. It's opened up so much opportunity for people. Like you said on YouTube, if you're an artist or you just started a cookie shop or you're in technology, you can engage with your whole audience through video. And in terms of a big, large corporation, they now have to engage with their customers, so there's feedback. It's not just like it used to be, just one way pushing your message out there. Now it's a two-way street, so your customers tell you what they expect of you, which means you have to be more creative and give them what they want. And I strongly believe more competition leads to more efficiencies.
Well, that's great, Shai. Thanks for coming in today. It's been
Thank
great
you for having me.
Yeah.
Thank you. It was great.
Hope we can do this again sometime.
I hope
and,
so.
Stay on top of this changing digital media environment.
Always a pleasure. Thank you.
All right, thanks. So we'll see you next time right here at Liquid Lunch, thatchannel.com.
Thank you.